You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com. You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
Actually, it's the lead play in our offense. We ask our YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet, get an isolation with the linebacker. Tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man who is inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us, 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim live in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin. We got Emilio in Tennessee. Got him a new Steel shirt. I see you representing. Man, let's show the folks what it's all about. Built in America. You got to love it, man. Got to love it. I didn't know Steel was actually permitted, with your avid, love of Milwaukee tools. I guess there's no conflict there, right?
No. So, gas engine versus electric. I think that's totally fair. You're talking steel Husqvarna. That's when we start getting into issues.
So people start wearing different color bandana and everything, right? We start getting those gang colors.
It depends on who gives you the free stuff, right? When you buy the tool and you walk out, let me get the hat on the way out.
Absolutely, man. I've got my favorite brands. I've got my favorite products. But somebody wants to sponsor the show, I can be swayed.
Yeah, I got an expert hat in the corner. Now we're talking.
The way that works, man. Yeah, I'll get on here with DeWalt, and you'll never see Emilio again. That's what we're at. So be out of here. But Jacob, how was your day, big dog?
Good. I kind of had the day off. It's been raining just nonstop where I am. It's going to rain for the next legit week. So kind of stinks every time I have a day off. It seems like it's pouring rain. So I've been kind of cooped up. I've been playing a lot of PGA golf. I don't play many video games, but randomly I'll just get hooked on. It's always sports games. I'll usually just make a player, make a team. I know Clayton's been playing some games lately. That's all I'll say about that.
I've been on that Madden 25 beta. Got invited to it, and it's pretty sweet, man. It's been a lot of fun, man. So, all right.
So you're a beta, dude?
What's that?
You said you're a beta, dude?
Beta?
True international under pressure.
Tim's already in rare form this season. I love it. We got a lot to cover, man. It's going to be a fun show. It's funny. I keep thinking, tonight's when we'll do Tampa, and I find 6 or 7 topics to hit on. I'm like, let's just keep talking ball until we need it, right? So there will be a little more of a dead zone coming up here real soon, unless, of course, the Jordan Love contract breaks, which it could happen any second. We already got 67 people live on Rumble.
Man. Let's go.
Appreciate you guys hanging out with us this evening. So before we get started, let's just give a quick shout out to the guys. Were kind of active on social media here lately. It's pretty cool, man. During this break, it's vacation time. Obviously, that's when everybody kind of goes out and does their own thing. And all right, the name, what do they call it? It's me season is what they call this, right? Like when you get out there, it's on you to stay in shape. It's on you to stay in peak performance, but also it's on you to not get arrested. It's on you to not wreck a jet ski. It's on you to not get videotape running down Main Street with their shirt off like Jacob would in Nashville. You know what I'm saying? That's on you. Make sure you don't embarrass the team.
Happened 3 times.
Yeah, right. All the charges were dropped. What are you talking about? So, it's pretty cool, though. A.J. Dillon, man, he's still in Green Bay. And he posted this video on Twitter and on TikTok. Let's check this out.
Here's what you should know about winning before you chase it. Winning's not loyal to you. It doesn't care about you. Winning doesn't care how sore you are. Winning doesn't care how much sleep you get. Winning doesn't care how hard you work at times. And sometimes a guy doesn't outwork you and he still wins. It isn't fair, man. Sometimes there is no justice. It's painful.
So, yeah, love it, man. AJ out there running the stairs. For those of you on the pod, he's running the stairs, running the steps, the bleachers at Lambeau. Pretty good place to be getting in a workout. I know that.
When you were playing or anything, did you ever listen to that stuff?
No,
like those motivational speeches at all?
I cringe. Every
I hate that stuff.
Yeah.
Do you?
Here's the thing, though. It gets some people going, man. Everybody's wired different, right?
There was only one that really stuck with me. It was the How Bad You Want It success story. The basically, like, you know, the dude. You'd have to listen to it, but only one really got me. But they. I feel like you can, you know, get hyped up behind some of that, and like, you know, sometimes players really lean on that. They need that for the motivation. You know, they need that, just hearing that sort of speech behind there, like, all this work I'm actually doing for something. But I was just wondering what y'all's take was on it.
Yeah, some guys just need some Metallica or some Tupac in the background or something.
Well,
that'll fire them up a little bit.
Yeah. Everything, man, no doubt. That's for me. It was always like. And I didn't play ball at a high level by no stretch of the imagination, but it was always the doubters, you know, the people that, you know, didn't think you could accomplish it, didn't think you could, you know, be the best version of yourself. That's the stuff that got me motivated. I loved it. I love anytime someone said something in regard of, you know, you're not as good as you think you are or whatever. It's okay. I'm going to be out there in February running foul poles. I'm going to be doing pickups. I'm going to be doing lunges, foul pole to foul pole. You go ahead. You guys go ahead and get some rest. Fatten up this month. I'm going to be out there with you. What was you saying, Jacob?
No, I know what I did it for. For the ladies. Didn't like.
Oh, my God.
Nice to meet me.
Yeah.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
I was trying to give Tim some time. I knew he had something.
I was waiting. It's only.
I love it, dude. Love it. Well, AJ also having some fun. Well, first of all, it was pretty cool, man. We seen that video. Tim, you were telling me that Keyshawn responded to it too, didn't he? Keyshawn Nixon.
Yeah, typical young player response. Yeah, here you go, bro. Go on vacation. Keyshawn retweets his motivational video. It says, "Bro, go on vacation."
Now, I guarantee you, I haven't been in those comments, but there's probably some fans roasting Keyshawn for saying that in the comments. I just about guarantee it. Mm-hmm. That's just how Twitter works, man.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I maybe underestimated that Keyshawn's just a you-know-what giver. That that's his personality, is that he just is constantly roasting people, because it seems to be that's the kind of even thread that maybe I'm noticing.
Yeah.
So I it's not that I take back my statements. I still want him to be a little more respectful in certain stuff. I have that same exact problem. I'm constantly the guy that's been written up at work for being like, dude, you can't make that joke. And I was like, but that was a good joke. Yeah. And then most of the time, I swear, they'll be like, yeah, it was pretty funny, but like, you can't say that, And so I kind of now maybe I'm starting to see that Nixon is just maybe one of those guys that he's just one of those dudes that's he likes to ruffle your feathers, and that's how he engages with you. And I've met some of my best friends, almost all of them are the kinds of people where like, you get, be like, I love you, bro. It's like your mother's ugly, and like, that means I like you. I like you, man. It's, you guys should hear the way we talk to each other offline. It's not like, how are you? Are you living your best life, pal? It's not that. I tell you what, it's the opposite of that.
M. Smitty said Jaden Reed also laughed at Key's comment. I like what Bates said. Bates said that must be so awesome to kind of have a stadium to yourself. Dude. That when I'm in Green Bay, my goal is to get in that stadium with no one. That's every time. And we were able to pull it off. The last time I was there, we got a private tour during the week where it was just us on the field. You do the big stadium tour. So it was just me and Mandy. They had 3 guides give us kind of this like deluxe tour. It was unbelievable, man. It was just being in that stadium when it's empty. And when we were there, it was spitting a little snow. You know, they had the tarp down there. It was just like, man, this is what it's all about right here. But again, it's not all
taking a Lambeau tour, and there's AJ Dillon running stairs.
Oh, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
On the tour.
Yeah, on my tour, I do know that my tour guide, when we were there, he nudged me. I can't remember his name right offhand. I've got pictures with him. They were just the most amazing man, and he was in the stadium when I think they were playing the Colts back in the '60s. When it looked like they missed the game-winning field goal, Don Chandler's field goal, but they actually rolled the field goal. But he said I was right behind the goalpost. It was good. It was close, but it was good. I was like, that's what I want to hear right there. But anyway, we were down there in the bowels of Lambeau, right in the players' tunnel, essentially, right outside of it. And he nudged me and was like, "There's a cart. There's the cart." And it was Aaron Rodgers' golf cart. So I walk over to take pictures with, Aaron's cart. I'm getting all the snapshots and everything, the 69 plate and all that stuff, And then I come back around the corner and Mandy's like, "You just missed LaFleur." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "LaFleur just walked by and said hi to us." So he was
rattled that he took a
going in to meet with the press. Like, we were hanging out with a damn golf cart and the head coach. I just missed him. Right? Could have got a chance to get a picture with Matt. But anyway, so
hey, while we're on the subject, go to Packers.com and make sure you check out the tour schedule now. We got the Legend Tours with Leroy Butler and Antonio Freeman. Antonio Freeman is signed up he's going to be a tour guide for something like 25 or 26 days or something. So if you want to come to Lambeau and get a tour led by one of our Hall of Famers, now is a great time to do it. So make sure you check that out.
Definitely. Antonio Freeman is just such a class act. I love that dude. I've got to meet him 2 or 3 times. And we got autographs, which autographs really aren't that big of a deal to me. I don't look at him like, I got him to sign something, but just having a conversation with the guy. He and Robert Brooks, I got to meet them at the same time, and they were just the coolest cat. Robert was a little more standoffish, not like rude by no stretch of the imagination, but Antonio Freeman was he was so cool, man. It was awesome. So, but AJ, it's not all work with AJ Dillon. He's also getting out and having some fun. He tweeted this out and put Farmer Quads. He said Farmer Quads is back. This time it's not a simulation. And he put at Book It with Trent. They said you can come by whenever. And he clicked he put the YouTube link. So make sure you go to AJ Dillon's Twitter page when this is over and give that YouTube view a view, that YouTube video a view, a like, all that stuff, share it around. But here, I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's about 7 minutes long. We're going to get a little clip of it just to give you an idea of what he's talking about here.
Stay with us on the farm.
The problem that not enough people know where their food comes from.
Yeah.
So that was the vision for this. So our mission here is all about agriculture education. Connect like the carrot.
You want to buy those beets? Thank you.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm just heating up.
Maybe you need to do one of these at training camp, right? Yeah. Hey, that's
how much people have, donated that and really gotten behind what you guys are doing. That's really cool to see. Everybody local helping out.
Someplace, I think you.
Here we go.
So you can press buttons on this? Where's the horn?
I feel like you start moving this thing.
That's not the one you're going to drive, though.
Okay.
We're going to get you to drive one. Yeah.
See, Gavin, you think I'm just down there gaming. I'm really trying to learn more.
You're learning, right?
Support local farmers. Come with us to see the world's largest potato masher.
We're claiming it's the world's largest.
The world's largest potato
masher. Social media. Someone's like, it's
39 feet, 11 inches tall.
7,500 pounds.
All right, you ready to go drive a tractor?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. I'll sit in there with him, show you how to run it, and we'll take a hot lap around the field if you want.
Heck yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
Yep, just move that slowly forward, and it should start going faster. Feel it? There we go. All right.
Do you get out often?
We'll go straight. We'll give you the full experience. All right. Pull the joystick back when you want to stop. like 6-7 miles.
So anyway, you get the gist of it there. AJ had to get out there and actually get on the farm and run a real piece of equipment.
I got to call him out, though. I mean,
Tim pointed it out, yeah.
Nothing wrong with New Holland, but it ain't John Deere Green.
John Deere Green. On a hot summer night, he rode Billy Bob the Charlene.
We're gonna get the Quadfather in the John Deere Green here when he's farming for sure.
Got to get that advertisement for sure.
I think someone should bring a bike, like a John Deere Green bike to training camp this year, or like one of them
awesome,
cardboard cutouts around the bike, and it just like looks like,
or like a race car bed on wheels.
Hey.
Man, we haven't talked about the race car bed in forever.
You better get excited about this race car bed because that tattoo's going on you. This defense is about to be elite this year.
That'll be the happiest tattoo I'll get because that means that we probably won the Super Bowl, man.
There's a possum in a dumpster.
United Bates says AJ has showed up on some of the tours in the past. There was one where Aaron did too when he was still here. I think Aaron and Bach, they caught him coming and going, and he sat there and took pictures and chatted with some of the people on the tour. So you never know who you're going to see at Lambeau for sure, man. It's such a magical place. But we had someone in the chat. Well, first of all, let me give a shout out to Robert. He's been texting me. We got a listener named Robert. Texts all the time. I want to give credit where credit's due. I know we did it before. Couldn't remember the episode, but Jacob had mentioned the meat missile, right? These guys, these defender, these defensive players are throwing themselves around like meat missiles.
Human meat missiles.
What is it?
Human meat missiles.
I apologize. Human meat missiles. So Robert messaged me. He's the one who messaged me, shot me a text and said, hey, you guys should give away a defensive award every week and call it the Meat Missile Award. So we're going to do that. We're going to give away the Defensive Player of the Week, and it's going to be the Human Meat Missile Award.
What happened to the Lunch Pail Award? Where have we gone? Jacob has steered this thing.
Look at that shirt over there. You know where it's gone.
I'm just saying. It's a good idea. The people like it. You got to give the people what they want. When the people ask for meat missiles, you give them meat missiles.
Anyway, we got to come up with a cool graphic. It's got to stay PG-13.
It's not.
What I'm thinking about doing is Jacob's face has got to be on this graphic for sure because he coined the phrase, obviously. What? And it's going to be.
He didn't sign up for that, huh, Jacob?
That's the way it works on here, man. So I apologize in advance. We also had someone. Cannonball John said, "Great show last night. Amped up for 2024. Amazing insights from Jacob the whole show. And he's got somebody full there. It would be a great show to get data on defense that use the safety for the line green dot. All right, and then he went on to say used in 2023 on a defensive back and the trend the last few years and by which teams, 49ers, Ravens, etc. So what I did was I went and pulled the information here. Okay." These are all the green dot players. It's going to be hard to see. I'm going to read them off to you all. You'll notice in the left column, all right, that's the guys that actually wore the green dot. And the right column is the backup, okay? So that's typically how that works. So if we can drop that comment down real quick there. Bang. All right. So the Detroit Lions, they had Alex Anzalone as the primary, Jack Campbell as the backup. What we mean by green dot, guys, the green dot on the helmet means they're wearing the radio. So they have the communications between the defense essentially and the coaches on the sideline, okay? It cuts off when the play clock, I think, hits 15 seconds. Then all those communications cut out. But that's the guy that's relaying all the information from the sideline to the players in the defensive huddle, okay? And most of the time it's linebackers. So what I'm going to do is go down. I'm going to rattle them off, the ones who actually wore the green dot. And I'm going to mention the safeties, whether they were the backup to the green dot or not, okay? But you had Alex Anzalone in Detroit, linebacker. You had Anthony Walker in Cleveland. He's a linebacker. However, Grant Delpit, I think, Delpit. He's a safety. He was the backup green dot, okay? So there's your first safety on the list. Tennessee Titans was Azeez Al-Jair. And then the backup, of course, was a linebacker as well. Seattle Seahawks, it was two linebackers, Bobby Wagner and Jordan Brooks. Houston Texans, and this is one of those defenses that we think might be a little bit comparable to what Jeff Hafley may or may not do, but it was Christian Kirksey and Christian Harris, both linebackers, okay? New York Jets was C.J. Mosley and Quincy Williams. They're both linebackers. Pittsburgh Steelers was Cole Holcomb and Landon Roberts. They're both linebackers. Miami Dolphins was David Long and Jerome Baker. They're both linebackers. New Orleans Saints was Demario Davis and Pete Werner. They're both linebackers. Then you have the Los Angeles Chargers, Derwin James. He was a safety. All right. So now some are going, okay, who cares? It's the Los Angeles Chargers. If I remember correctly, the Los Angeles Chargers' defensive coordinator was Derek Ansley, who is now our passing game coordinator, as well as our defensive backs coach. Okay. So might just want to make a mental note of that. Tampa Bay Buccaneers was Devin White and Levante David, both backers. Las Vegas Raiders was Devine Diablo. I think I'm saying that correct.
Who?
Dump Truck Spillane, both linebackers. Los Angeles Rams were Ernest Jones, and then the backup was Jordan Fuller. He was a safety. Okay, so you've got 3 safeties so far, only one of which was the primary green dot. Jacksonville Jaguars was Forsythe. I hope I'm saying that right. Ola Kuhn, and then Devin Lloyd, both linebackers. San Francisco 49ers, here's another defense that's very comparable to our defense, right, or the new defense that we think we're going to get. Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, both linebackers. Washington Commanders, Jamin Davis and Cody Barton, both linebackers there as well. Now, when we move on to...
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com. You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com. You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com. You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
The second of this list here, New England Patriots, Kyle Duggar. He was a safety, all right? Now, the backup green dot was Jawan Bentley, who's a linebacker. Arizona Cardinals, Kazir White. Then the Cowboys, you had Leighton Vander Esch. Now, both of their backup green dots in Jaron Kearse and Malik Hooker are both safeties. Cincinnati Bengals, Logan Wilson, linebacker. Philadelphia Eagles, Nakobe Dean, linebacker. Kansas City Chiefs, Nick Bolton, linebacker. Green Bay Packers, Quay Walker wore the green dot. Devondre Campbell was the backup green dot, both linebackers. Baltimore Ravens, Roquan Smith, and then the backup was Kyle Hamilton. He was a safety. Carolina Panthers, Shaq Thompson, and then Frankie Louvu, both linebackers. Indianapolis Colts, Shaquille Leonard and Zaire Franklin, both linebackers. Chicago Bears, TJ Edwards, and Tremaine Edmonds, both linebackers.
The Bears still suck.
Beautiful. Buffalo Bills was Terrell Bernard / Tyrell Dotson and Dorian Williams, all 3 linebackers. Atlanta Falcons were Troy Anderson and Caden Ellis, both linebackers. New York Giants, Xavier McKinney, safety, and Bobby Okereke. So Xavier McKinney, our new prized possession from free agency, obviously signed him to a big deal here. He's going to be here for at least 3, maybe 4 years. He wore the green dot for the New York Giants and Wink Martindale last year. So the thing that sticks out to me here, guys, obviously Xavier McKinney has experience wearing the green dot. And if you go back up the list again, The Los Angeles Chargers, obviously, with Derek Ansley, like we mentioned, is now our passing game coordinator, or now our defensive backs coach. I apologize. He was the DC at Los Angeles. He had a safety wearing the green dot. I think there's enough evidence here that I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that maybe Xavier McKinney might be our green dot answer this year. So let's just kind of go around the horn with that. How would you guys feel about it? What do you think? I think that would allow Quay Walker to just free up his mind and go play fast, right? What do you guys think?
Well, first off,
don't talk over each other either.
First off, Ron Sandwell said green dot is one-way communication, right? To best of my knowledge,
yes.
Yeah,
I believe so.
100%.
I don't know, man. That's a great question.
I know.
It has to be.
I'm 99% sure it cuts at 16 or whatever, and it's one way. But I think I was with Coach here saying more dots at safety than I originally thought, which is 100% fair. But after I thought about it first, after I was thinking on it as you were reading that, Clayton, if our biggest challenge was getting the notice or whatever, the defense over to the other side of the field from, our side, and the farthest person is the corner. So within the secondary, really, we would just need Xavier in there to call the play. And at that point, if, Devondre Campbell I feel bad. Quay Walker and Cooper, are able to handle the calls up front, can, slide the D lineman left and right, whatever. If they only, they only have their base and their plans, then I wouldn't see a problem with actually it being back there.
Yeah, and here's the answer to that question. The green dot contains answers to how NFL defenses have evolved both technologically and schematically in the past 15 years. On the field, only one player per unit can wear the dot. The system allows one-way coach-to-player communication between plays before the play clock reaches 15 seconds. So it is one way. Go ahead, Jacob. Tim, what do you guys think, man?
Have you seen there's a great clip out there, maybe you can track it down, of Matt Stafford mic'd up last year, waiting for McVay to call the play in, and he's in the huddle, and he's got and the guys are all huddled around like, so what are we? And he's like, hold on, he's still talking. He's still talking, guys. Oh my God, he's still talking. It's a great clip. You got to see it. So it's clearly one-way communication. Otherwise, the coach would have heard Stafford, trash talking him during the game. But no, I think clearly there's precedence here for X to maybe be the guy to wear that green dot, especially considering when you look at how young the linebacker room is. I mean, for all intents and purposes, like, I believe Quay is the veteran, other than possibly I'm trying to think, has McDuffie been in the league maybe a year or two longer than Quay?
Yeah,
maybe Zay McDuffie is the guy, but either that or Eric Wilson. But the point is with maybe some uncertainty with who's going to be the mic, and we don't really know right now. I could see Xavier McKinney maybe being the green dot, but I would definitely think if they went that route, I would think the backup would be a linebacker for sure. And that's due to the fact that you can only have one green dot on the field at a time, so you've got to have another guy on your list that's approved to take on that role in the event someone gets hurt or pulled out of the game or whatever. So, I think it's a possibility. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a probability, because, that would be kind of a unique approach. But we do have a new DC. We have a new defense. So there's time for a change like that. Maybe this is the year. We're changing everything else. So why not change the green dot?
Yeah, like Jacob said in the chat just a second ago, we did crack 100 just a second ago. That's the very first time, to the best of my knowledge, on Rumble we've had 100 in here live. There's also 101 watching on Twitter right now. So appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Hit that like button for us, man. I know some think, it ain't a big deal. It helps more than you know. But go ahead, Jacob. What do you think about this green dot, man? Who would you rather have? Does this information surprise you? Talk to me.
Well, I guess I'll kind of maybe lean back on Tim just a little bit there and say that I would say that it's maybe more probable that they would put Xavier McKinney with the green dot, just for simply the fact that we've seen Hafley come out on so many different occasions say we want our guys to have everything simplistic so that they can play fast. And if Xavier McKinney has that green dot experience and he kind of has a better idea as to how to be think about where he literally stands on the defense. He's overlooking everything. That's the best spot, in my opinion. You're kind of like in the crow's nest of overlooking where guys should be, their alignments, like Tim talked about, or maybe Emilio we all remember the play where Carrington Valentine's across the field, like, I don't know what you're doing, dude.
Right.
Kind of cut that gap in half if McKinney's there being like, yo, this is this and this.
I guess my question would be then, how does McKinney get a call into the line or into the, to the linebackers or the middle of the field from the back end?
Right. And I guess that's where I was going to say is that there are going to be some limitations to having that as your primary. But I guess I was a little more surprised as well to see that there was that many safeties that are the green dot, preferred green dot, I guess. So I would say it's going to be and I'm kind of just trying to play devil's advocate, I guess, really. But I would say I would lean like 55% McKinney versus like 45 Quay or somebody like that, McDuffie. Somebody, but I do honestly think it could be something a little bit just more unique because Hafley, he's again stressed. He wants these guys to play fast, to not have to think about much, just go be explosive. We've talked about how Cooper's that kind of guy where he just pins his ears back and goes. Apparently he's looked real great off the edge. So I don't know. Forgive me if I'm putting words in your mouth, Clayton, but I think that you've kind of expressed that Quay is the best coverage linebacker we have. So if that's the case, maybe let him be that linebacker that's maybe trying to analyze things a little bit better, drop back into coverage, kind of play that almost, I don't want to say a hybrid safety, or anything like that, but just be more of a cover first linebacker and let the other guys that we got, these human meat missiles, start plugging holes, Just
the tip, though.
It was based off of that comment I made was based off the statistics that we broke down, and he had one of, if not the highest passer rating when targeted, lowest passer rating when targeted. Essentially the best passer rating when targeted from the defensive perspective amongst the linebackers. So I was just simply saying like, hey, why not put him in a position to do what he does well, at least up to this point, right? That was – and here's the thing, like this defense is going to be very interchangeable. That's what I was trying to point out before when we were talking about this, and we'll talk a little X's and O's here in a second. When you're in a nickel defense here, the mock, it's going to be a mock and a will. And that mock and that will is very interchangeable. For instance, if you're playing like a Tampa 2, most of the time the will has to cover the seam in a Tampa 2, and we'll explain what that means in a second, as opposed to if you're in your 4-3 base, the mock would be covering the seam in a Tampa 2. Okay, so that's why it's like, okay, if he does play will and you put Edgerrin Cooper or Isaiah McDuffie at the mock in the nickel defense, all right, which essentially the mock will be on the strong side of the formation, then most of the time what will happen there, depending on what kind of cover 3, what kind of cover 2 you're running, the will is going to be the one to cover the seam in that Tampa 2. So again, we'll hit on that here in a minute, but yeah, that's the way I seen it. Right. And again, they both got to be able to mix and match, just like the safeties. The safeties have got to be able to they've got to be able to both rotate down. They've both got to be able to cover. They've got to be able to tackle. This whole, again, some people are still stuck in 1994 where you've got a strong safety and a free safety. Technically you do, but now the safeties are very, very interchangeable. We got
1994. Coincidentally enough, the first year the green dot came into the National Football League. Fun fact.
Yeah. And like you were saying, Clayton, I mean, if the interchangeableness of the linebackers, if X is going to be on the field all the time, then why not have him be the dot? 8 out of 10 plays he's going to be calling standing in front of the line as they're huddled up. The rest of them he's going to have to call on the fly as it's a hurry up, sort of offense. So let the front four just rush the same. If you can get a quick call to the linebackers, I'm sure they're going to know in a 2-minute drill, hey, we're going to drop into zone, hook curl zone or whatever, and then pick up man on demand. But I really don't think that would be a bad idea. And the fact that he's done it before, he already has previous experience with it. I think that's an option if, especially if Quay's all for it too. Hey.
Yeah, and Tim, what you mentioned just a second ago, Tim, he's calling the play in the huddle. So you don't have to necessarily relay that information a long distance. Like you're in the huddle. All right, here's the play. And it just so happens I was reading up on Robert Saleh's defense before we went live earlier. And as recent as last year, Robert Saleh typically does not let his defensive players change the play. It's like, this is the call, run the damn play. That's right. How Robert solid season. Now, would Jeff Hafley be like that? I don't know. So I mentioned that, Tim, because there would be no reason to have to change the play if he's going to take that solo approach of, hey, look, here's what we're playing. Whether you're sugaring some kind of shell or sugaring a heavy box and dropping back into shell, you shouldn't have to worry about that communication issue. And yeah, I think we'll be okay in that regard, depending on, no matter which side they choose. So let's go to the chat, see what everybody says here. Ron Samble says, makes sense as McKinney will always be on the field. That's a very good point. Coach Lynn says it makes sense to have one safeties because you heard Nixon say he was coaching our defense through the secondary, right? Coach Lynn says, my vote is for Xavier to wear the green dot. Eric Sutherland says he agrees. Xavier McKinney. M. Smitty said he agrees. Ron Samble says easier to rotate linebackers if McKinney has the dot. That's a very, very good point, right? Yep, that's a very good
The other
point.
thing to remember, too, is having a vet like McKinney wearing the green dot gives you an advantage if communications ever go down and you have to resort back to the old, hand signal or, the cue cards being flipped up on the sideline. You need someone that is able to process so that we don't miss a beat because I believe there have been issues before in games where, headsets go down, battery packs die, and they're not going to stop play just because you can't get your technical stuff together. So it's important to have someone who really knows what we're doing out there with the green dot.
Yeah, definitely. United Bates says, I think it would be beneficial having X wear it. X gets the call. Backers make line adjustments or whatever. Less thinking. I love it. And again, the less you have to communicate, the less mistakes will be made, I think. Greg Rice 123 says, who had the dot when we had Woodson? I'm almost positive it was AJ Hawk.
AJ Hawk, yeah.
Always with a green. That's another thing that gets the people that like the dog AJ. I'm like, man, y'all have no idea what that dude did. I seen it firsthand too. If he get banged up and go out of the game for just a second. I specifically remember the Monday Night Football game, Aaron Rodgers' first start against the Minnesota Vikings at Lambeau. And AJ was battling some kind of shoulder injury, and they had this huge harness under his jersey holding that shoulder together. He wasn't going to miss that game. And I remember it seemed like the first couple drives he was all over Adrian Peterson. I'm sure they had him shot up, with some cortisone or something. But I remember the guy next to me looking at me and going, God, I'm so glad 50's out there, man. Yeah, he was just so underrated amongst Packer fans, in my opinion. So
absolutely.
I love it. Eric. There you go. Eric says AJ Hawk is a legend. Amen.
If you want to do something fun, go just Google AJ Hawk highlights, and you would be surprised. He was very good at intercepting the ball across the middle of the field.
Talk about a human meat missile.
He looked like a tight end out there, and he was very good at just all of a sudden recognizing coverage. I didn't realize. I thought of him more of that Ohio State just plug linebacker, just kind of, just downhill linebacker. He was actually really good in coverage. I forgot that about him. So.
And the fact that he missed 3 tackles his entire career. That's another
hardly ever missed any games too. Availability, accountability. He had both of those.
And he looks like he's Encino Man. He's the missing link. His face.
Mandy says he looks like Avatar. The movie Avatar?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Looks like Avatar. What
I think he looks like one of the Incredibles, personally.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Angus McHaggis says, or maybe Ballantyne sounds like he will be getting a look there. I'm not sure what he's talking about.
He's talking about in the slot.
Oh, in the slot. Again, man, I'm open to it, man. Create a competition there because it's going to be huge. And really, this is kind of a good segue too. We can jump right into the talk here. We got 110 on Rumble.
Ooh, we're at 110. Let's go.
A quick second, sub the channel. Hit that like button for us. It helps more than you know.
And also hit the share. That helps more than you'll ever know, because if you hit the share on the Facebook, on the Twitters and all that, the Instagrams, then people are like, what is Rumble? And then that's how we're going to build the base here if we aren't going to. So
absolutely. Jacob's preparing as if we're never going to be allowed on YouTube again.
Dude, we're not. They hate us, dude.
He may be correct. I'm just going to say that. All right, so you hear us talk all the time about cover 3, cover 2, Tampa 2, cover 3 buzz. Cover 3 buzz is like the staple in the old Pete Carroll defense, in which Robert Saleh was kind of born out of. And if you guys listen to the Play Callers, there's one part on the Play Callers podcast, that series, where they talk about the guys that were coaching against Robert Saleh. They said, man, how do you get guys rotate down? So they made a comment about out of cover 4. You guys are playing that cover 4. And he said, we're not playing cover 4. And like, what are you talking about? You showing shell? It's like, no, we're playing cover 3, right? I can't do this, boys. What?
I can't look at the chat anymore. Smitty and Uncle Eric are on one tonight for sure.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh my God.
Eric said, "Yep."
We could put that one up there.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so let's dive into the playbook here just a touch. Let's start off with that staple, which is cover 3 buzz. All right, and let's explain what that is. So with a cover 3 defense, obviously you've got 3 man, what is going on here? Here we go. All right. We've got 3 defenders playing deep, right? It's a 3 deep zone. So basically your deep defenders have responsibility for a third of the field, okay? Obviously your corners, as you can see here, are going to drop back in a deep third on the left side, right? So you see right here, they got a deep third. So they're playing up on the line. They're going to cover deep third. Your free safety will rotate over and he'll cover deep middle third. And then the other corner will cover deep third outside opposite, right? Now, what cover 3 buzz is, and you'll see we're in a nickel set here, right? Here's your nickel over here. And, of course, you got your strong safety. We're showing that shell look in which Robert Salo and the guys were talking about on the Play Callers podcast. So in a buzz situation, what will happen is the strong safety will actually play down. He will buzz down to what we call a hook zone, okay? So he'll buzz down to a hook zone. The mock in this situation will play curl flat. So he'll play curl to the flat on this side, all right? And then the will play what we call that other hook zone. And then the nickel will play curl flat, okay? That's what you call cover 3 buzz. Now, I want you guys to imagine, remember the Legion of Boom, right? This strong safety was Cam Chancellor. Imagine being that Y and looking to run a little angle route. And you've got Cam Chancellor buzzing down into the box and just decleating guys, right? So that's what cover 3 buzz is. All right. Anybody got any questions, comments about cover 3 buzz there?
Greg Rice does right here. He says, doesn't it take forever for the mic to get into the flat in that situation?
No, absolutely not. Think about it too. What is the threat to the flat? Your
the running back out of the backfield.
Well, look at where the running back is on this situation, though, right? He's on the weak side. So keep that in mind. So he's opposite.
So your tight end running a flat, maybe?
The tight end running the flat, the Z running the smoke. If the corner bails, of course, the corner is kind of reading that too. Especially we're not even mentioning that this could be a match play as well. It could be zone match. This is just simply spot drop is what we're showing here.
Well,
so,
isn't mostly a lot of times the inside linebacker's responsibility to follow that running back out into that flat anyways?
Not in this. It depends on the defensive play call.
I'm saying normally, like it's not asking him to do something that's that crazy as to shoot out to that flat. Like on a man covered situation, he's going to have to run with that guy anyways. So to do it in zone, really isn't saying
they're comfortable with that anyway.
Right.
Like a man coverage. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So so the nickel again, he's going to be playing what we call curl flat on the opposite side as well. So what you essentially got is 3 deep, right? You got 3 deep, 4 underneath, and then you've got a 4-man rush. Right. That's what you call a nickel 4-2-5 cover 3 buzz. Okay. Now let's show you the difference between buzz and what they call sky. All right. With sky, it's a little bit different.
Have you ever experienced turbulence on a flight and wondered why?
And you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything?
No, everything's PG.
Maybe you've sat on the tarmac for hours wondering why your plane isn't moving.
Well, we're outside here. They're saying the ramp is closed. They won't let us park because of Air Force One.
Listen in on the conversations between pilots and air traffic controllers on the Air Traffic Out of Control podcast.
510 declaring an emergency. There's smoke in the cabin. I need to make a landing right now on 31 left.
We have the most interesting, wild, and funny ATC recordings you will ever hear. Check out Air Traffic Out of Control wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Let's see here. Cover 3 buzz, where you at? Bang. All right. So with cover 3 sky, what you're noticing now is same thing. Corners, deep third outside, right? Free safety, deep middle third. The strong safety now is going to be playing the curl flat. So he's going to be flying down and playing the curl on his way to the flat if someone attacks the flat there. The mock now, instead of playing curl flat, is going to be playing a hook zone. The will is going to be playing the hook zone, and the nickel is going to be playing that curl flat. Same as the opposite side with the strong safety. Now, you can mix and match these. You could flip this if you want and have the free safety buzzing down or playing sky, and the strong safety covering deep third. And that's why we're talking about these safeties need to be interchangeable in that regard. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So any questions about that? Again, that's cover 3 buzz, cover 3 sky. There's a whole bunch of different there's cover 3 blitzes, there's cat blitzes, there's wheel blitzes, there's mock fires, there's all kinds of different cover 3 looks you can run. These are the 2 most common when it's just a 4-man rush, 7 in coverage type thing. So, and that's, if I remember correctly too, I don't have the data in front of me, Robert Saleh ran mostly just a 4-man rush. So did San Francisco for the most part as well. That's a big misconception, is people think that they're just blitzing like crazy and they're so aggressive. They're aggressive in the sense of it being a 1-gap defense. Right. So there you go. All right. So that is your cover 3 look. Anything you guys want to add to that?
Greg Rice in the chat said if the CB backpedals, it seems like the flat is open for the wide receiver.
Yeah, for the smoke route, absolutely. And that's why you ever see a team run a smoke and they just get crushed, and it's like, why'd they do that? That was stupid. Because they might be expecting something where they're showing a shell coverage and it's actually going to be a curl flat responsibility of the strong safety, and it takes a little longer for them to get there. And in that case, maybe they got blew up because they were actually playing a cover 2. So that's a perfect segue right there. Let's jump into a little cover 2 zone here. And this is just your basic cover 2. Some will call it sink. I think with sink, sometimes there's man match principle. Sometimes there isn't. It depends on the defense, the coaches, all that. But with a cover 2 zone defense, what you've got here, remember, we just showed you 3 up top, 4 underneath. Mm-hmm. With a cover 2 zone, still a 4-man rush here in this specific cover 2. And I would call this cover 2 drop is what I would call it. But you've got, instead of your corner covering deep third, let's just start at the second level. Your free safety is responsible for deep half. Your strong safety is responsible for deep half. Everyone else is playing underneath. So with your corners, they're going to be playing kind of that curl flat, right? And then your nickel, hook zone, wheel hook zone, mock hook zone, corner, curl flat. So you're taking the underneath passing game away. You'll call this against someone that likes to run a lot of those route combinations, maybe mesh, maybe drive. And you'll need to know with the drive, okay, when I pass the number 2 off, when I pass this slot off to the wheel, then I've got to sync to make sure I'm covering the second level of that drive play, which would be basically a dig behind a drag or a shallow cross. All right. So now with every defense, there's positives and there's negatives. There's strengths and there's weaknesses, right? So when you look at this one, it's no different. Where is the weakness on this defense? You've got what I always refer to as your bunkers, and most quarterbacks will call that the whole shot. I think that sounds a little perverted, personally.
I was waiting for you to bring it up, Clayton. If not, I was going to yell bunker and seam.
Yeah, and with the seam, I always heard it called the base because you got more space out here to attack. This is a really tight throw. Aaron Rodgers made a living off of hammering that bunker shot there because he'd throw that ball nose down right over top of the corner. Now, some people go, well, why don't the corner just read that and just drop back a little bit deeper? Because he's got curl flat responsibility, right? So with the curl flat responsibility, maybe the slot comes out in a little flat concept, right? Or maybe the T's working out of the backfield. So when you hear the progression called pick a side, what the quarterback will do is he'll come to the line of scrimmage. They'll have a cover 3 beater over here on this side. They'll have a cover 2 beater on this side, meaning a route combination. All right. Yeah. So, and when he comes to the line of scrimmage, they're showing shell, or if they're showing, a early rotation, then they sink back to shell. It's ball snap, Greg Cosell 101, elimination, isolation. What are they in? Okay. Cover 3, I'm going left, pick a side. Cover 2, I'm going right, pick a side. Man coverage, you want to typically go through your reads, but that's where you're getting into a little bit of convolution, if that's the proper word. You can kind of work through reads if they did sugar you on zone and they end up playing man coverage, but for the most part, you're going to try to pick a side against a zone defense.
Right. You're right about Rodgers, man. He was a master at putting that ball like over the corner and before the safety help could get there to the bunker. Just a master at that.
Absolutely.
And then if the corner were to bail there and try to run with the X or the Z, up the field, that's just going to open up something right underneath. You know what I mean? Like you're leaving an entire zone wide open at that point. Just waiting to get lit up.
And that's where you get into what we call side adjustments. If they go pick a side and they know they have a good idea that they're going to be running cover 2 based off of the game tape they've shown, then they'll work the left side here and they're going to read. It'll be side adjustments. It'll be, like 1, 2, 3, right? And depending on what this corner and this nickel does, if they are in a true cover 2 drop, they'll probably, in my opinion, they'll try to hammer overneath. So you might run like a little wolf concept or something and hammer the corner over the top. And the way that would work too, I think it's smash concept. So with the smash concept, I'm going to try not to screw up my graphic here because we're going to use it again later. But with the smash concept, typically what will happen is you will run a curl right here. And then out of the number 2, you will bend it in and run a corner over the top. That's called smash. It turns into a high-low read. And let's say you ran a little flat out here. So you're overloading this zone defense underneath. This corner's got to make a decision. And that's where your side adjustment now, your eyes lower, you read the hips of the corner. Is he turning and going? If so, we're working underneath. If he's staying, squared up with the quarterback, reading the eyes, you hope that this bend inside right here will get that safety to bite just a touch so you can free up on that corner route. That's just one of 1,000 plays.
It gives in that example gives them 3 levels to work with off one side of the field.
Absolutely. So it's all about options, right? Just like Jacob on a Saturday night, you know what I mean? Got to have options. So, all right. So that's cover 2 zone. Tim, Jacob, you guys got anything you want to add to that at all?
No, it looks good. My hand hurts. I'm taking notes.
I was actually just going to comment. You guys may have saw my fast fingers because I was trying to highlight some different comments. Chad is talking about. He goes, "Okay, I'm getting Rumble. See what this is all about. Thank you for that, Chad. It's way better." But then Greg was saying, basically asking some questions, and then I just thought it was good to highlight. He goes, "Hey, I'm here to learn. I don't understand this well. Don't feel like that everybody here. I don't know half the stuff Clinton's talking about when he says it. I mean, I'd be honest. And Eric says here too. Eric said the same thing. He goes, Greg, I barely understand, but I'm here to learn. That's the whole point of the podcast. Me and Clayton and Tim and Amelia have talked about it all the time. If we have a mission statement, it's that we want to be better Packer fans, to learn at the, where you are in the journey of learning about football, and all of us have different attributes as to where we know things and don't know things. I think that's the best part of this podcast, especially in the off season, is that we just kind of dig into these X's and O's and try to all learn together. So guys, don't be afraid to ask what you think are stupid questions or any kind of question in the chats. Cause you guys obviously get that that's what makes half the content. Most of the time, like we've talked about, we jump on here and we're like, what are we going to do? I don't know. All right. So,
all right.
And again, man, there's no stupid question there. I'm still learning. Like I don't know a fraction of what most people who are avid football fans, know. I'm trying to learn as I go as well. And what's cool about the NFL, some people hear that and they go, well, I'm way behind. Dude, ask Coach Lynn. The game, it stays the same, but it changes constantly. The general concepts will kind of stay the same, but the game is constantly evolving. Coach Lynn says smash good versus man or zone coverage. And it really is. It depends on the leverage in which the DBs are playing with. That'll determine, where you go with the football there. If they're playing outside technique, you're probably not going to try to – if the nickel's playing outside leverage or outside technique on the slot receiver and he's running a corner route, probably not going to try to hammer that corner, right? Probably going to be a check down if you stay with that side of the field. But yeah, it's there's a lot of really every route combination is designed to beat something, and it's just a matter of you doing enough research during the week, getting ready for your opponent to put yourself in a position where you got enough route combinations, passing concepts in the game plan where you could try to basically attack their weak spots that they specifically like to run every week. So let's see what Eric says here. Greg, I have 7 kids. That should tell you how slow I am. M. Smitty says the only dumb question is, will the Bears be good this season? Amen. And then Greg Rice says, versus man, do you have to wait until just after the breaks of the wide receivers? And versus zone, you have to wait for the wide receiver to run to open windows. I think, and Coach Lynn can comment on this too, you've got to anticipate the throw and be on time regardless if it's man coverage or zone. Mm-hmm. But, you'll see sometimes, like especially Jordan Love on some of those digs, that backside dig in a slot cross concept, he throws that thing when he is right behind the defender. And then all of a sudden, bang, he comes open on that dig, right? So I think the answer is you got to anticipate on both man coverage and zone. So,
right.
All right. Yeah, there you go. Coach Lynn changes every year, man. I'm telling you, it's like, damn, we failed last year. All right, get ahead of the game. What were people doing last year? What do you think they're going to play off of that? One of my favorite things about the Play Caller podcast was when they were talking about Kyle Shanahan and how he tries to draw up and scheme up offensive plays to attack specific defenses. The way he does it is he'll show like this cover 2 defense, right? And he'll draw with a blue marker. He'll draw a route combination that beats this, right? And then he'll change the defense to a cover 3 and go, okay, that route combination is now covered. What route combination will beat that cover 3 that this team likes to run? He'll do that in red, that whole concept in red. And then he'll do it against Tampa 2, or he'll do it against cover 1 robber or cover 1 hole. And then, okay, where do we get the leverage there? Okay, we need to make sure we're playing with inside leverage. If they show inside leverage on our slot, then we'll play, with an out route on the opposite side. We'll draw that play up in yellow. And then at the end of the day, you look up and okay, here are the passing concepts we need to attack this team. And there should be an answer to the equation no matter what the defense called is. So I love it, man. This is the stuff that I will never forget doing the podcast. I'd been doing the podcast about 4 or 5 months, and someone asked me an X's and O's question. I'd never talked X's and O's on the pod because I wasn't going to steer it in that direction. As soon as they fired that question, I was like, oh, you guys have no idea what you just opened up. I was just waiting for someone to give me approval to talk a little X's and O's. Coach Lynn says wide receiver and quarterback have to be on the same page, post-snap and route adjustment to what the defense is doing. We're talking very basic. There are choice route aspects to this as well.
Yep.
So deep. I mean, so deep. And
this is exactly why you saw the debacle in Denver with Russell Wilson. There was just no communication there. Nobody was on the same page, and it was a dumpster fire.
I agree, man. All right, so let's go to the last one here. We're at the 53-minute mark. We showed you cover 2 zone, right? Again, what are the weak spots? We just showed you, right? The base and the 2 bunkers. Those are your weak spots against a cover 2 defense. All right. So what made Tampa 2 so popular in the NFL? And it was Tony Dungy, Monty Kiffin, all those guys kind of popularized the Tampa 2 defense when they obviously ran it down there in Tampa. That's where it got its nickname at. So with the Tampa 2 defense, little bit different. See if I can locate it. Here we go. So with Tampa 2, rather than having 5 underneath, what will happen is, in this nickel set, I think it would personally be the will that would play the seam. But notice what you've got here, guys. You've got your corner playing playing that curl flat look, your nickel playing that hook zone, your Mike playing the hook zone, your corner playing the curl flat look, and look at how the will drop down the seam. If there's a threat or there's even a 2 or a 3 by on one side, that will be prepared to drop down and become that middle third defender. What they essentially did was took away the biggest weak spot in the cover 2 defense, which is the base. So if you'll notice here in the Tampa 2 look, and there's different variations, you've still got your bunker open. That's how you attack the bunker, right? But you can no longer hit the base up here. Guess where the soft spot becomes now? Underneath, right? In that spot right there.
And it spreads out the other zones. It spreads out your nickel. It spreads out your 2 corners, opens up 3 more windows.
Space here, right? You got a little bit of space here too.
Right.
And So what you'll typically want to do there against like a Tampa 2 defense, to give you an idea, it may get a little bit janky here. Hopefully we can make it look decent. You're going to want something to stretch the wheel down the middle, right? So maybe it's you send the Y on a skinny and you walk that wheel back. And as you walk that wheel back, maybe you do this. Maybe you come up here with the slot. And I think this is the drive concept. Okay. And what you'll do is work underneath. And now you've got a high-low read. So when the ball is snapped, you can look at the Y in case the will or the Mike fires, and he'll be your hot read, which means dump it out quick, get it to that guy on the run, right? But if everyone drops the way we've got it designed here, as the Y walks out, you'll go 1, you'll probably work 2 to the X and then come back to the slot with your third read. And the reason being is he walks the wheel out. The slot will probably take the nickel with him a little bit deeper on that hook zone. And guess what opens up? Your X underneath. Well, if the nickel squats on that and stays true to his hook zone and plays underneath to catch the X, guess what's open? The dig, the 10-yard dig there on the slot, right? And that's what we call, I think that's drive there, if I remember correctly. That
right, and then there you maybe have the Z work in towards the mic, then a corner route, just to suck him up a little bit longer before the 2 crossers ski up. There we go. Then he work towards the bunker, but also kind of, keep that middle occupied.
And then imagine this: you got your T, right, helping pass protection, and then last second, bend that thing out on a leak, right?
Because maybe that corner was cheating. He forgot. He didn't care about his zone. He followed the X across. Oh, there's no other wide receivers over here. Maybe he cheats.
Yep. And again, these are very, 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 very basic concepts. There are choice routes involved with all these routes in Matt LaFleur's offense for the most part. And that's why you've seen the team struggle so bad last year with the young wide receivers trying to get on the same page with Jordan. They struggled really bad in 2022. The easy thing to do is go, man, Aaron Rodgers is washed up. No, he's playing with the wide receiver core that led the league in drops. And also, they don't know what the hell they're doing yet, right? Now, the problem is he's over with the New York Jets where the whole organization don't know what the hell they're doing. So good luck with that there, number 8. But so there you go. Anything you guys want to add to that, Tim, Jacob, anything you got at all?
I mean, I got something that's not necessarily. I'm just like the other guys here. I'm just sitting here trying to write notes. I'm trying to learn. I honestly feel like we should probably do more X's and O's segments because it does. I mean, like I understand basic concepts, and here's something that I was just kept popped into my head. I kept taking notes literally as we're going on. We talked about how certain schemes and things flow in and out of the NFL throughout the years, and which is crazy to me because when I think about the last 3 quarterbacks we've had, obviously Rodgers, Love, Favre, certain aspects of the game transcended through those guys in a way that, and you guys tell me if I'm crazy, but think about this, the hard count. Love has a great hard count, came from Rodgers, which came from Favre. The sidearm throws. Love has a great sidearm throw. That came from Rodgers, which if you guys don't remember, Brett Favre used to do that kind of crazy stuff too.
Oh yeah, that's why it boiled my blood when I heard people saying that like Pat Mahomes was like the first person to throw off platform. It just blew my mind because we saw that in the 90s with Brett all the time.
The other one I was thinking was the pass after the handoff. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Rodgers and Favre used to do the handoff and then throw because randomly you would have a cornerback or a safety that was still keying in on what the quarterback was doing. And that split second would hold them from maybe making a play if the running back or whatever broke into the secondary or past the linebacker. So then the other one I thought about too was the back shoulder comeback route. Like that was just a staple, mainly with Rodgers, I would argue, but Favre could do it too. And now you see Love do it. And that timing, all these timing routes, it's just like, I really think there is something to be said that, like you talked about, Clayton, they hammer these things. And I think it's great that Hafley and LaFleur seemed like he had to maybe, I don't want to say simplify the offense, but whatever he did midway through the season clicked and they understood it. If Hafley can get that same kind of response from the defense, hopefully sooner than later, I think that we could have a situation where, we really do have the offense and the defense firing on, I don't want to say all cylinders, but at least consistently to the point where we come out of the gate a lot farther than people thought we could.
They're light years ahead of where they were last year, I believe. And again, you see, people see Tay Wicks and Jaden Reed working out together in Florida, and then they're down there. I guarantee you they're in the playbook together. And here's the thing too. What do we show as far as success in the wide receivers, right? Tay Wicks was the best slot receiver we had on the roster last year. He performed. He had the highest passer rating when targeted when playing in the slot. Jaden Reed had the highest passer rating when targeted when he was playing in the Z. So if there's your Z and there's your slot, when they go to those 3-by-1 sets where you've got a Y, the slot, and the Z on the same side of the field, they're working on choice routes, route combinations, identifying stuff, studying the playbook, going out, running routes on the beach like Rocky. You know what I'm saying, man? Out there working out on the beach, which is one of the funniest scenes ever in the movie, man.
Him and Apollo Creed, sometimes they just like to race. Have you ever been with your bro on the beach and been like, you want to take your shirt off and race?
And just hug each other when it's over?
Yeah. Yeah. Emilio and I did that
actually over spring break.
Emilio,
how about these hands?
Yeah. No, I was just gonna respond to Greg's comment here.
Emilio just ignores it. I love it.
Does each wide receiver have multiple routes to run versus what he sees from the D? That's where Clayton's talking about choice routes.
Yeah. It depends, right, Emilio? There's some that, hey, this is just a hard route, run it, and there's other aspects of the offense that Matt's got choice routes keyed up.
And that's where I think Ron was kind of going with a big part of Jordan's struggles was not knowing if the receivers were going to read the defense right and make the right route choice earlier in the season.
And the only difference between him and Rodgers is they were when they run the wrong route with Jordan, almost 9 times out of 10, Jordan's just going to walk back to the huddle. With Rodgers, he was giving them that side eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The same thing Mandy does on Monday nights. It's Monday. I'm going to go downstairs. She goes, trash. Right? It's going to happen. I got to take the trash down. So. Anything else, fellas?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
We got 100 on Rumble right now.
You got Chad Man from down under. We got him off X and got him over to Rumble.
There we go.
That's awesome. One
like
person
the
at a
profile
time.
pick too, man. Cool pick there, man. That's awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Cool. Tim, you got anything else, bud, before we wrap up? Anything you want to hit on tonight?
No, this was good. I'm always down to talk defense, especially X's and O's. So I appreciate the information.
And you got like cover 3 hard flats, cover 2 hard flats. We didn't get into all that. That's where like for example, just real quick, and we'll wrap up. In a hard flat scenario, the corner here, instead of playing what we call that curl flat, he's just going to play a hard flat. He's going to buzz down. He's going to play really underneath down there around the X.
Maybe that's a press man look, jam him off the line, let him go, let him go past you sort of thing.
Flat. Yep.
Right.
And it might be something where you have the nickel slide over play over top of him instead of playing Tampa. The wheel cheats in that direction too, because they've seen on tape that when they go to a 2x2 set, it's narrowed down to these 2, 3, maybe 4 passing concepts. They're doing the same thing that Shanahan and other offensive coaches are doing, drawing on the grease board in different colors, going, okay, here's how we attack this defense. They're also going, here's the defense is going to stop their favorite route combinations, right, and their passing concepts. You guys have heard us talk ad nauseum about slot cross, right? Slot cross and dagger are 2 concepts that Matt LaFleur absolutely loves to run. I guarantee you when teams are prepping for the Green Bay passing attack, they're going in that week going, okay, what defense can we set up to stop slot cross and dagger? That's probably 2 of the most. Mm-hmm. The problem is, they weren't expecting Jordan Love to buy time back there and make a defender miss, throw a stiff arm, and then throw off platform a dot down the seam on the opposite side of the field, and just that's the thing about when you hear people talk about the scouting report for quarterbacks like Jordan Love with the arm talent and people like Caleb Williams, right? He did it 2 years ago. We'll see if he, last year he was pretty bad in my opinion compared to the year before, obviously. But
and he cried.
When a quarterback can play off a schedule and when a play breaks down, they can make something happen. That's what you see with Jordan Love in the second half of the year. And the whole crying thing, Jacob, I don't have a problem with a player crying. I have a problem with a player crawling into his mother's arms while his teammate is still on the field and then crying. That's like, what the?
Oh, we're going to give him some
all year long, Timothy.
I'm telling you, the dude has a binky in his freaking locker. Like, he has to go there and, like, he's got his little pacifier. He's got his little nail polish set. The guy, he's going to have a hard time, I think.
You call me anything you want, but don't call me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the nail polish, that I mentioned the nail polish 2 years ago at the end of the season when they played Notre Dame, and it wasn't because he's painting his nails. I don't care. Look, wear a skirt. I don't care. Do whatever the hell you want to do. You can play ball. You can play ball. That's the way I see that. Maybe I'm weird. The thing that got me though was you're going out there against your opponent. You're putting FU, ND, and all this stuff, and it's like all I said was Just people like, I love that. Okay, name another great quarterback that acted like that. I'll wait.
Yep.
They're hard to find. Peyton Manning wasn't doing that. Tom Brady wasn't doing that.
Bo Callahan.
Bo Callahan probably did that. Yeah, he probably did. He woke up from that drunken stupor from his 21st birthday party and had his nose painted, probably. So
nobody went to his party.
That's a good point, Jacob. It's a good point. If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? If no one hears it, Emilio, does it really make a sound? That's the question.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a botanist.
No, it depends if you need to cut it up or not. I don't know.
How to talk. And Emilio, what would you use to cut up?
Well, I have a still small chainsaw, but
Husqvarna.
I have a big Husky chainsaw. I got a 24-inch Ranger.
I'm team Steel for sure, man. Team Steel.
Husqvarna.
I got a farm boss out there that's never let me down, man. About cut my leg off a couple times, but me and that farm boss, we go way back, man. So
they spin it, man.
All right, there you go. You're not getting that on any other podcast, I promise you.
If you go to change the chain on a Husky, make sure you undo the brake. You never want to take the plate off with a brake on.
There you go.
I'm just saying, you're gonna be dealing with the clutch afterwards. That's all.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Tim, cue the Home Depot music. Come on.
We no longer have Home Depot music due to copyright.
Never mind.
So
we never did.
I gotta go in store to get our Home Depot music when I go.
You know, it's funny that we said either Home Depot is going to sponsor us or we're going to get sued or canceled. And now we got 2 strikes on YouTube.
Whoa. Don't point that at Home Depot. Because we finally got Milwaukee commercials on the pod. All right.
And Home Depot commercials, right? So
Milwaukee outdoor tool commercials are on the pod. We got past the Ryobi. We're good. We got past planting Mother's Day plants.
65%. 65%. That's what
I just felt like hitting it. All right. We're out of here, guys. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. This was had a huge crowd in here. You guys would hit that like button on the way out. We really appreciate you hanging out with us here on this Monday evening. Tim, will you help these folks out, please?
Yes, absolutely. As soon as I can stop laughing long enough to find it.
For those of you listening,
wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it.
Thank you for making us a part of your day. Thank you for washing your hands and washing your butt. And as always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. One butt whopping at a time. All right, go Pack, go.
The power sweep actually is the lead play in our offense. We ask our YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet, get an isolation with the linebacker. Tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man to his inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here. Try to run this play in the alley.